Hey guys, we're back with another episode of Real Talk with Joe and Cody. What's going on, man?
How are ya?
Good. How are you? You left me hanging last week. I had to do my solo
Yeah.
show and didn't know what to do. I was a little lost just staring into the camera.
Yeah, well, I watched it and I think you were actually better than when I was on there. So maybe 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 you found
I
something.
just stop asking you to do it. Like
Yeah, right?
like
I'm
no,
like,
this week
"Man,
is fine, man. And then I'm on the show next with the following week.
yeah.
I would never do that to you. It will be a bad
No,
breakup if it's a breakup, you know? I don't know how that's
absolutely.
gonna go. I don't know how that's gonna
Yeah.
go. Maybe when my agent starts saying, "Hey, you gotta push off from
Yeah.
him,"
Yeah, you gotta break away. He's
he's
bringing you
dragging you down.
down.
If you wanna be famous in this thing.
Yeah,
He's like
exactly. Yeah, there
I
can't be
did
2
notice,
bald
I forget
guys.
the stats, but, people are starting to download our podcast, Venture with Joe and Cody, if you haven't already heard.
I love it.
Yeah, not in a crazy, we're not Joe Rogan or anything, but we're getting some traction with our podcast. So someone is interested, unless it's just you or me
Yeah.
just downloading a ton of our podcasts.
It
But
I can assure you it's not me. I definitely listen to them just to kinda see, but I can only listen for so long because you know how
oh
it is when you're
my.
listening to yourself?
Oh my. And we already know what's gonna be said. And it's like I've
Yeah,
tried. I've been in the
yeah,
car to like and played it and I'm like, I don't know. I don't need to hear any of this.
yeah.
But yeah.
It's like when you
But
post a video, you're like, "I'm gonna watch it one time just to make sure I'm
yeah.
okay with it, and then I'm not
And
gonna
then
watch it
done.
again."
Never gonna see it again. No, I
Yeah,
know. It's a little, is it cringe? Is that what the kids say? Rory
I
would
think
be
so.
like, "Stop talking right now." Rory would
Yes.
be pulling the plug on this right now if he heard me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I don't like listening to I don't mind you. I don't like listening to myself.
I'm
But
in the same boat.
I had
I don't like you either.
I said I liked listening to you.
Oh, my
How
bad.
dare you? How dare you just turn on me? Yeah, I had some technical difficulties with the light back there. Like, it has a little remote, and I think the remote was glitching. And so it was like, I turned it on, and every time it was just different colored lights constantly. And I was like, I don't know if we can
Yeah.
have this for the show.
Have a little dance
Managed to
music going
figure it
on?
out. Managed to figure it out though.
Nice.
So I wanted to, two things. One, kind of like on more on a social level, getting big into Claude AI. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
It's kinda
Can't
like
say I have.
ChatGPT, and I don't wanna say I'm an expert in it because 'cause I'm definitely not, but it's just like, how I've been, like, always dabbling in different AIs and different things,
Yeah.
and Claude AI has been hot on TikTok, and people like talking about it,
Oh,
and, yeah, I'm diving into it. I'm gonna see how it works related to ChatGPT and Grok, so
okay.
anyways, diving into it.
I've
One of
I've
the
been
one of
using Grok a little more.
Really?
Yeah.
I kinda drifted away from drifted away from Grok, uh so I'm now kind of ChatGPT and Claude, but Claude
Okay.
I'm just diving into, just kind of
Yeah.
seeing what it's like. But
Yeah.
there's also there's something else, and I don't even want to say the name because I'll probably butcher it. And it's something like people are buying like Mac minis and basically having basically a Jarvis from Iron Man like run as a virtual
Really?
assistant like 24/7 as a virtual assistant for you. It's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, I don't know much about it, so I don't want to speak on it, but it's like it
Huh.
you basically let it go, and it learns everything about what you need to, all the prompts you need it to do, and all this
Wow.
stuff. Like for example, they'll look at competitors' YouTube pages and research and see which ones like hit, which ones didn't, which one like to help you compare,
Yeah.
whether what you should be doing strategy wise and things. So
Oh,
just as an
wow.
example. Yeah, it's kind of nuts. So
I was just playing around the other day in our email. I was sending off an email and everything has some form of AI
yeah,
associated with it now.
yeah,
And like Outlook has a feature called Coach, and it doesn't rewrite it for you like if you were to put it into
yeah,
ChatGPT or something, but it gives you like little coaching things.
for
It'll
sure.
it'll like whatever tone you want it to be in, it'll say, um, you know, here are some suggestions on what you could do, or
Yeah,
here's a
yeah,
phrase that you could use to kind of, and it's actually it was pretty good overall. Like I didn't necessarily use many of the features in it, but it was good to kind of read through those and see where it's like, because my email was more or less a paragraph of all the
yeah.
information, and it just kind of broke it up and it said, it looks like you're trying to show a couple different examples, maybe break those up into bullet points, share a
Okay.
little more detail on this and this. And then I was like, oh, well, that's kind of a nice little way to as a reminder even of just like something as simple as formatting an email.
For
Like
sure.
in my
Yeah,
brain, I'm just writing it out and all the information's there and you can digest it. But
for sure.
I think it's interesting
Yeah,
how
we use,
everything's got a
Gmail, and that's kind of the same. They have a Gemini. I think Gemini works on that, and then
oh, okay.
also we have Fixer AI that I think we talked about before,
Yeah.
and it works. Fixer AI suggests, like, actual responses, so it'll be like someone will email, it'll determine if it needs a response, and then basically do a suggestion email, like,
Okay.
and it's quirky. You obviously have to review it and kinda see what it says and things
Yeah.
like that. It auto suggests everything, which but some basic ones, like, can be really good. It just basically is press look at it, look it over, press send. And so, but Fixer AI is pretty good with that. But
Okay.
anyways, on to more serious topics.
Yes.
The war and how that's kind of been affecting rates and how we were kind of seeing the lowest, what, since September of like 2022, I think I read. Like we had the
Yeah.
lowest rates for years. And then the war hit and then boom, back up. So kind
Hmm.
of want to talk to you about that in general and then kind of see what kind of our thoughts are on long term and short term implications of that.
Yeah. It's weird because in the past, it always seemed like anytime there was some form of uncertainty, war, uh, whatever it is, something that just kind of threw things off, mortgage rates tend to get better because I think it was just the uncertainty of the stock market. You have these wars going on, and it's like, I think for somebody with a simple brain like me, especially when it comes to the stock market, I'm not thinking about all these other international companies and who's providing what and resources and all that
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
There's a lot that goes into it, but with this particular case recently, we had last week was really good for rates. Just every day, just drastically better and better and better. And like I said, we got to the point where we were the best that we had seen in 3 years. We had hit those marks a couple times within the last year, but it was like a quick jump back up. So it's not that we haven't seen them at that level, but when we did, it was for like a blip, right? Like
yeah,
a day
yeah,
or two, and then they jumped right back up. And so Friday was awesome. And then Monday started with just a bad day. Tuesday
yeah,
was even worse. Today looks like it's kind of leveling out. So it's hard to really know if it's knee jerk reaction. I was reading an article that was talking about there can tend to be a little bit of a buying spree, especially like with the 10-year treasury
yeah,
as the end of the month comes up. So you can kind of see a little trend of rates coming down towards the end of each month. And then the beginning of the month, there can be a selling spree. So it's hard to know if that it's probably a little bit of everything, but
yeah,
I think the war that's going on kind of accelerated some of that because what we saw on Monday was like the 10-year treasury, it was I get depends on how you want to calculate it. 100 basis points, 10 basis points, 1 basis point. Either way, however you want to really kind of look at it. It was a
yeah,
big jump. We haven't seen a jump like that overall. Like post COVID, once rates started going up, that's what we were seeing. That's why we'd see rates go up by, a quarter of a percent in a day because we just
yeah,
have these awful days, day after day after day. So between Monday and Tuesday, we lost so much ground on what we had gained because the national average got down to 5.9, 5.99, right around in that area. And
yeah,
then now it's back up closer to six and a quarter. So it's like in the big picture, does it really make a huge difference? No. I mean, realistically, if you break down what a quarter of a percent does to your mortgage, yeah, it's gonna increase your payment some, but it's not typically gonna be the difference between we can't afford this and we can afford this. I think the thing that just hurts the most is there was such good momentum being built, and
for
then to
sure,
just have it halted, which is what we've seen now over the last couple years. Every time
for
we
sure.
feel like we're getting to this new low and maybe we could hang here for a while and it
Yeah,
just something kicks it back up to where we're just not quite there yet to be able to get that kind of steady, stable. And, you start to see it. You probably saw it um, in the news, on social media. Everything's talking about mortgage rates are at the lowest they've been in
mhm,
3 years. And so I think that kind of kills some of the momentum too when
for
you
sure.
when you have that good stuff going out there, and then to find out, oh, they're not. That was true for a day, and then now it's kind of gone. And so it's it's just going to be like everything else. I don't think that cycle will ever change. I think the hard part is just we it gets so exciting when you see them come down
I
like that,
know, I know.
and then they just get halted.
For sure. And I think like the most consumers, I think, we nerd out on this and I saw a couple articles about like the potentials for what the rates could do based on if the war lasts a long time or a short time. The short term obviously is that if it's a short term war, then those fluctuations could just resettle back down just as quickly. If it's a
Yeah,
long term, then you have people that think because of the instability, investors will start investing in more safer financial things, which then
yes,
brings the 10-year treasury bond down, which would then bring rates down. But then, inflation going up, there's all sorts of
right.
like things that factor in with the nerds that look at this stuff. I think what we're seeing, I think at least short term, is I think buyers are going to start just freeze again. Like what they've
Yeah,
seen is they don't care. They're not reading every article of what the 10-year treasury bond is doing or whatever.
yes,
They're seeing instability and then saying, okay, let's hold off for a little bit, and so I hope that's not the case for a long term,
yeah,
but I think that's what we may see if the rates kind of do go up again.
mhm,
That buyers are going to be like, I was right there, like I
yep,
was dipping my
yep,
toe in the water, and now they're not. So
yeah,
I haven't seen that like directly for the war. That's been a pretty short time period, obviously, since it started. So
right,
um, we won't know for a while on an anecdotal level or you and me level talking, but
sure,
yeah, it'll be interesting. I hope it's short term for a long for many reasons,
right,
but I hope that we can kind of get some more back to stability because I think that instability is what's going to cause our people to start, thinking
yeah.
twice. So
Yep, and I'm with you. I think that it's we probably pay a lot more attention to it
yeah.
than most people do. So for us, it seems like a big deal. For others, it's like, oh, I maybe they didn't even know about what's going on because realistically, I feel like over the last year, um, there's been more and more of an adjustment just to where things are at, right? Like whether that's at the grocery store, buying a car, buying a
Yeah,
house,
yeah, yeah,
whatever
for
it
sure.
is, like there's that adjustment. And I've noticed that from the housing side too, that there's just more I get less and less people when I'm pre-approving them that they're like, "Oh man, I can't afford that." And
Yeah,
sure, there is a price point where they're like, "Oh,
for
there's
sure.
no way I could go there."
Yeah,
But
for sure.
something that's more realistic to what is out there. I'm seeing it less and less, and I think there's just more of a preparation and they've had conversations, they've had it looked at over the last couple years to know
Mhm.
I can't buy a house and expect to get a $1,500 a month payment.
For sure.
I'm renting for 2,000. I'm probably gonna have to pay a little bit more to buy a house than I am to rent. And so I think
Mhm.
there's that expectation has shifted a little bit. So I think that even with the rates kind of doing their thing, which they will continue to do forever, I think that there's just become more and more of a we're getting into a normal period of where we're at. Just like when
Yeah.
home prices were going up like crazy. It's like it takes a minute to adjust, but once you do, it's like, okay, yeah, no, that's not a $400,000 house, but yes, it is,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, eh,
Yeah.
I remember back in the day that used to be 200,000.
I know. I was reading about an economist basically say the same thing we said before is like people have to just kind of, can you afford it? If you can afford it and you want to go
Yeah.
forward with it, just go forward with it.
Yep.
I think, you are going to see people that aren't, that are maybe just dabbling in it and maybe they hold off for a while and that's totally fine. But,
Sure.
he was just basically like trying to predict the market is very tough. And like you said,
Yeah.
there's been no stability in the market. Uh, for a while, like
Mhm.
if we're going
Yeah.
by interest rates. So,
Right.
because they could drop, next week if everything goes
Yeah.
back to normal, so,
Yep.
um, but that's
And
where
like you
we're
said,
at, man.
it could drag on for a little bit, and that could change things for the better, right? Like the stock market maybe does get a little softer because of this, and those big time investors start dumping it into the bonds and the treasuries, and
Yeah,
and that starts to bring things back down and kind of balance out. So it is hard to know. I think a lot of it does end up being a knee jerk reaction,
yeah,
and then it
for
kind of
sure,
starts the dust starts to settle, and we figure out where we're
for
at,
sure.
and sometimes
Yeah,
it's
it's like
like
what the
a
stocks did, like right when we heard
yep,
about the war and how the stocks tanked, and then everything kind of reacts and then kind of settles back down. So,
yeah, and then you get the investors that are like, hey, now's a great time to buy. Let's buy
yep,
all this back up.
absolutely, yeah, absolutely. Like me, I'm a big time investor,
I
tons of
know.
money thrown into that market.
I'm still surprised that you do this show with me because
It's a hobby. I enjoy the hobby. But speaking of show, you guys join our podcast venture with Joe and Cody. We
heck
do it
yeah.
weekly and talk about this sort of stuff, talk about personal life, talk about work life, help people that are just in the industry, help business people that know the screw ups we've made and help
Yeah.
to avoid that. But yeah, go over to Apple, Spotify, iHeartRadio, YouTube, and just subscribe to our stuff and watch us and listen
Yeah.
to us if you want. So,
Support.
um, yeah, I guess glad you're back, and I guess we'll
Thank
get
you.
on. We'll see a adventure with Joe and Cody this week, but and we'll see you on the live next week. I think I'm around next week, right? You're around.
Yeah.
Should be good. So,
Should be good.
okay, okay,
I think so.
cool. Okay, good
Awesome.
talking to you, man.